Marketing Strategy Lab. This is Jeff Koga with another episode of Show Notes for episode 23, and it's all about the lab rant about blue ocean versus red ocean strategy. Now, if you have listened to it already, you know that I'm a big believer on blue ocean strategy, and it actually comes from a gentleman in the actual world of writing a book called Blue Ocean Strategy, Mr. Kim himself. Okay, now I'm going to read something very, very interesting. Okay, because I'm going to read an actual review of the book. Okay, it was actually this person left a review on December 2nd, 2012, and I want you to take away something. Okay, because I like to read these reviews because there's always counter perspectives of anything, and it's a great thing. So if you're an actual thinker, that kind of stuff, then you know that there's counter perspective to everything, right? Same thing as people say there's 2 cents, everyone has a 2 cents. So pay attention to what this person says, and I'm going to give you kind of my insight on what I think about this, okay? It's from the gentleman named Joseph in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It says, Blue Ocean Strategy, how to create uncontested market space and make competition irrelevant. And he writes for the reviews, this book was initially written in 2005 and enjoyed success. This is my first opportunity to read it, and obviously he read it in 2012. Based on what I've observed, I think I will place a 5-year moratorium on reading any new books on management or business practices. It's much easier to separate the BS from the peanut butter that way. Management has been around as long as societies have been around, as a cursory reading to the Genesis will attest. Let us call management the world's second oldest profession, the first being, of course, agriculture. I hope you knew that. Since human nature does not appear to have changed, I think that management books should be read with particular suspicion, and the case of book deservedly so. The central theme of the book is that one should create new markets, blue ocean, rather than slugging it out in existing markets, the red ocean. But most of the book is tautology. For example, Kim Morgan argues that one should use a strategy canvas to assess competitive landscape. The strategy canvas is a central tool in blue ocean. It compromises a catalog on which is listed subjective customers' benefits and ordinate the measures the degree of achievement for each category. If that sounds too non-quantitative to exceptionally useful, it is. How the author can call this an analytical is beyond me. But my main objection is that the categories themselves are nebulous, useless, or worse, leading to an errant conclusion. For example, let us revisit a case study the author presented regarding Circus Olay. What categories should we place on horizontal axis? Well, before Circus Olay existed, we may have placed items like ticket prices, entertainment value, number of acts, quality of acts, right, animal flying, on blah, 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 on a strategy canvas, okay? And he goes on and rambles off. Now, this person actually has a legitimate position, okay? And it's a great counter perspective. But here's the thing, okay? And this is the beautiful thing about marketplaces and, God bless America, because we're able to do the things. I wouldn't be able to do the things that I'm doing if I wasn't in this country. But the beautiful thing is because of the minds like this, okay? Couple of things, okay? Is one, okay, is blue ocean can be not used to create a new marketplace, but can be used to create a what? Competitive advantage in marketing. Okay, here's a prime example, right? There's a couple of individuals that I know in the marketing world, that consulted for like gardeners, right? So you might say, okay, gardeners, what would people do if they want to do gardeners, right? There's a couple of ways, okay? Some of the oldest strategy that people know of, you may have heard of, is that if you're a gardener, they'll take their gardening truck, plaster it with like logos, website, phone numbers, that kind of stuff, and you go park that car in what? A very affluent neighborhood, and just park it in the times of early morning and then park in the times in the afternoon. Why early mornings and why afternoon? Very simple. Is because in the morning people are going to work. So if they're driving by seeing your car, subconsciously they're going to think that, hey, you know what? That person is probably that neighbor right there. That person did their garden, regardless of even you saying it or not, right? Because they see it all the time, right? Same thing when they're coming home. So when you do a direct mail drop in there, they'll be like, oh, I know this name, especially if it's like a catchy name. That's one. The other strategy that you can use, because that's kind of like a blue ocean strategy. Why? Because no one else is doing that type of marketing strategy, right? So again, you created your little ocean that no one's doing, so that way you can have an advantage. Other things like in gardening is what? In the off season, you can sell fertilizer. You know, what kind of fertilizer? Well, the great fertilizer one, right? Because your income is directly proportionate to the size, the value you bring to the marketplace. But not only sell your fertilizer, but you can undercut the competition, meaning other fertilizing company, by selling that at a cost. So that way you can gain it on the back end by getting a client that you can, for gardening, right? Now, how does that work in other businesses, right? Other things are like if you're a roofer, right? You can as a roofer, every roof gets replaced every 10 to 15 years or so, depending on what you have, right? Certain roofs, like shingle roofs, you can only have about 3 layers on top, that kind of stuff. And the only reason why I know that is because I'm a developer, right? And that's what I've learned. I've been flipping houses since 2004. And how do you get on the roof to sell roof? One, you got to see the condition of the roof. So, if you're going to do what everyone else does, what are you going to do? You can do door knock, you can send letters, you can do that kind of stuff, right? Or you can ask for referrals. But, a cool little strategy you can do is, do free gutter cleaning, right? Or sell gutter cleaning at cost. You just got to hire someone to just clean out the gutters at cost. You don't need to make a profit on it. And then, upsell them into a new a roof, right? So things like that, right? Those are different strategies, right? A couple other things is like a plastic surgeon that I know of, right? Is talking about how they're selling now body wraps. I don't know if you have seen that or not, where people put body wraps around so they can lose the cellulite, that kind of stuff, the cottage cheese thighs and all kind of stuff, right? So this particular plastic surgeon bought those things from one of those companies, and he's selling them some even at cost, and even less than cost. Why? Is because they want customers that don't like their body. And if they don't like it, they can then say, hey, you know what? I can go ahead and do the surgical procedures for you to actually make you look real sexy and beautiful, right? So those are blue ocean strategy, because no one else is going to do that. Same thing with dentists, right? I've heard this story many times, and this is a marketing story. If you study marketing, they'll talk about it all day long, is that a dentist can go out, buy teeth cleaning, right? Teeth whitening, right? And sell that at a cost or even at a loss. So you can gain people, because I've been told that in dentistry, I guess, is that majority of the income is made in cosmetic dental, right? Not in like the cleaning stuff. So you can do things like that. So other ways is like even in the real estate development world, right? So people are looking for ways to gain leads from motivated sellers. So instead of hitting them motivated sellers, hey, we buy houses cash, people will hit them and say, hey, you know what? We can finance your repairs for you, right? So to owners, and then they're going to call them and they say, you know what, we can't do this, this, and that, or they'll lend out the money if they have it, and then they'll try to buy the property. So things, again, don't look at it as when you read the book, and like this person that takes it, is that your ability as an entrepreneur is being able to take ideas and concepts from the world or from other people's minds, and then being able to take that information and apply it in real life ways, so that way you can generate more revenue by bringing good value to the marketplace. So again, as I state always, remember, most businesses, if they're having income problem, cash flow problems, or a lack of cash flow, or you're trying to grow your business and you're hitting a plateau, it's not a tactical problem, okay? It's a strategy problem. And I'll go back to, again, someone like a gardener or something like that that's looking to drum up business, right? Then they're having challenges. They can do the same thing as most people do a shotgun attempt and do a direct mail campaign and drop mailers directly at houses, right? Or you can even do like every door direct, right? And then send letters to every single door in the neighborhood, and then hope that someone's going to call you back. Or you can do a most cost-efficient side, is the what? Park your branded vehicle in a very affluent neighborhood, and then so that way, when you do send letters on that street where the car was parked, right, then you're going to hope that you're going to have that higher propensity of being able to convert a client into a lifetime client that's going to hire you, right? So those are strategies, right? Again, strategy. You got to look at the world in a different way. You got to kind of like a Rubik's Cube, look at the bottom, top, and things like that to go execute. So it's one of those things that you gotta make sure, I'm a believer on. Don't be in the red ocean, not just in terms of a business, but also in your marketing strategy, okay? Is because if you are in the red ocean, it's really, really bloody, and unless you have a big war chest that you can go ahead and compete in that red ocean, I don't believe that small business owners should be in there, especially if they're in the startup phase of their business. And even if they are in the growth phase of their business, meaning that their business is taking off, I don't think that you should be in the actual red ocean. Create blue ocean marketing strategies so that way you have a competitive advantage, so that way you can win and dominate. Because if you can't win and dominate in a marketing campaign, then there is no purpose in doing it. You don't get A for effort in business, right? It's either you succeed and the campaign works magically well, or it doesn't work and you got to turn it off. So that's what I got for you. Hope you like this kind of stuff, and if you do, make sure you subscribe to our email list, get our newsletter, get our marketing tips and tools, get our marketing funnel strategy, funnel automation, insight, and much, much more, because we do a lot of things behind the scenes that we don't typically talk about on the show. And as a side note, I do apologize. We've been getting a lot of emails from people saying that, hey, how come you're not doing the 7 days a week show? Is because we're realizing that we rather condense the shows and be able to deliver more superior information to each and every one of you on a consistent basis, because a lot of our show talks about case studies, and if we do a show every single day, it's kind of tough to give updates in little bite-sized pieces, versus at least if we have like a week in between, then our update in a campaign is a lot more relevant and you're going to be able to see more changes, and when that happens, it's more valuable to you. So if you like this stuff, please share it with your friends, leave a comment below. Absolutely love you guys. Thank you so much. This is Jeff Koga, and I am signing out. Bye-bye.